Hello, my name is Zach and I designed ShotLister. Today we are going to be walking through how to create your very first shot list. Is that exciting? Yes, it is. ShotLister, in case you don't know, is an app that allows you to create shot lists and shooting schedules and manage it all digitally so you can change it as you shoot. Today I am running version 3.3 on an iPad, but everything is very similar no matter which platform you're using, whether that's iPhone, Android, macOS, whatever it may be. All of this information will be very helpful to you. It all works in a very similar fashion. All right, so here we go. You will see that ShotLister is built up into two sides. You basically got your list view here and a sidebar here. If you're using a phone, then this sidebar is its own little window, but it's all the same information. At the bottom, it also has two modes. One is scene mode and one is shoot day mode. Scene mode is basically for being in prep and building all your shot lists, and shoot day mode is for building all your shoot days and scheduling them. All right, so you will see that we've got a list of all our projects, which is just one, Indiana Jones. That is the project that comes with ShotLister when you first get it. If you join or create any new projects, they will be listed here. Everything works as kind of like a hierarchy. So if I click on Indiana Jones, I now have all the scenes that are inside of Indiana Jones. And if I click on a scene, I now have all the shots that are inside that scene. You can also see that the sidebar is changing. So on the left here, we've got basically our information, our website, shotlister.com, that you can go to, our email, contact@shotlister.com. You can send me an email there if you have any feedback or any issues you're having, and you can rate ShotLister. But as you dive into the project, you'll get all your project settings, and as you dive into a scene, you'll get all your scene settings. So that is where all that information lives. You can also see that on your project that it has this date, which is basically the last time that project was changed. And some buttons at the top. So I'll click this one, which is to create a new project. So we'll hit there, and we will call this project Star Wars and hit save. So now we have a new project called Star Wars. If I go back to projects, you'll see I've got both of those here. If you need to sort things, you just press and hold, and then you can sort them around. And if you need to delete things, you just click and drag to the left, and that reveals the delete button, and you can delete them. All right, now the next thing to see here is the import menu. So here you can click here once you've linked your Dropbox and access your Dropbox if you would like to import any files from there. You can also import ShotLister files, and those are basically our project files, which you can email to people or sync around or save for backup purposes. You can import CSVs, which are templates that you can download from our website, fill out all the information in Excel, and then import it into ShotLister. And we've got Final Draft, Fountain, and Celtics, which are different script formats that you can import into ShotLister if you have ShotLister Pro. And PPM, which is an online cloud-based production management tool, which also exports SHLs. So you can click on that for more information. The next icon that you've got here is CrewSync, which allows you to sync files between your own devices and share them with other crew members. I'll have another tutorial all about how that works, but you can access some of those options here. And the last icon is the gear icon. You click on this, it will show you how to sign in or create a CrewSync account, as well as to link your Dropbox account. All right, that is all the exciting information about the projects page. So, with further ado, we will dive into Indiana Jones. Here we are inside of Indiana Jones. On the left, you can see the name of this movie, the last time that it was changed, and a few settings. 24-hour time, which will allow you to use a 24-hour clock, if that's something you prefer. Exclude I and O, which allows you to, in your shot numbers, exclude the letter I and the letter O, which sometimes can look like a 1 or a 0, so that allows you to turn that on or off. And you can turn off or on detailed scene headers, and that allows you, in your shoot day mode, to have either lots of information in your headers or not a lot, depending on aesthetically how you like it. And then this is where you add crew and turn on CrewSync, which I'll get into later. What you want to be interested in right now is this list of scenes. Aren't they nice scenes? Yes, they are. All right, so in each scene you will have a scene number, a scene nickname, which is just something you can use to basically remember that scene specifically, and then all the scene's metadata. So it's location, what happens in that scene, the page number, page count, and cast. The other thing you will notice is that these scenes have different icons. So sometimes they have no icon, which basically means the scene has not been scheduled. Sometimes they'll have a calendar, which means that it has been scheduled. And sometimes it'll have a check mark, which means that all the shots in the scene have been shot. So that's helpful once you have hundreds of scenes to kind of get an idea of where you're at. One interesting thing to know is that if 9 out of 10 shots have been shot, but only one has not, it will still show you a calendar. So you will only get a check mark once every single shot has been shot. All right, and you'll see this one's got a red color, and that's just, I've labeled that one red. Why not? So there's lots of colors in this app that allow you to just, however you want to organize things, you can label them with colors. All right, up here you've got two options. One is the export project menu, which I will go into more detail in the export and importing tutorial, but the basics here are you can export projects to email or Dropbox, and you can create PDFs, CSVs, or SHLs. All right, now the moment you've all been waiting for, we're going to create our own scene, ladies and gentlemen. Let's click the plus here, and let's call this scene the arc, and hit save. All right, we are inside of a brand new scene. Here's all the metadata for that scene, so it's called arc. Its location is going to be a secret Nazi island. You see it capitalizes everything. That's going to be exterior. This is interior, exterior. And actions, this is describing what happens in the scene. Let's say that the Nazis open the arc! Exclamation mark. All right. Let's scroll down here for the rest of the info inside that scene. Scene number. So as you can imagine, you give this a scene number. Let's call this number, let's do 77, and these are your revision letters. This scene got a lot of revisions. Let's go down to Z. All right, this is 77Z. Time of day, well, I think it was kind of evening-ish if I remember. Page number, let's say it's page 89, done. And shoot day, this will list the shoot days the scene is in. Right now it's not scheduled, so there's nothing there. Page count, that's how long the scene is. Let's go for a hefty 3 3/8. And color, as I was saying earlier, this is where you can assign it a color. Let's go with orange, because we know some crazy things are about to go down with some orange light. Cast numbers, so these are the casts that are in the scene. We know Indiana Jones is in there for sure, and Marion. But I think also, if I remember, Belloc is in this scene. Let's call him character number 3. I have no idea how you spell Belloc, but let's just pretend like it's like that. And so Belloc and Marion, they're all in this scene. So you can see we've added some characters. And here are some notes. If you had some notes, Spielberg could write them in there. Okay, so very good. Now we've got our scene, 77Z. It is orange. It's called the arc. We know where it is and what's going on. You can see if we go to our list here, it's down here at the bottom. You cannot sort things by hand here because this is all sorted by scene number. So this is the one list in the app that you cannot sort by hand. You'd have to change the scene number specifically. That's just to help with making sure things don't get mixed up with all your other departments. All right, who's ready to create a shot? I know I am, so let's do it. So I'm going to click the plus. And which shot are we going to add? Let's call this face melt. That's one of my favorite shots in this movie. You got to do that. So you create face melt, and up comes this list with all of the data that we can add into face melt. So let's say, I can't remember whose face. Was it Belloc's face melts? Oh man, I'm not a good fan. Well, let's just say, no, I think it's that Nazi guy. Nazi's face melts. Great, perfect. Now here's some data. So setup, this is the setup number. I don't necessarily know what that is yet. Camera, I don't know which camera that's going to be yet, but I do know that it's a close-up. And I do know that it was on sticks because it had to be locked off. And let's just guess that it was on a 50 mil. And we're going to color this shot just for our own reference, bright red, because his face is melting. All these types of menus, you can edit and add your own entries to customize everything to your own tastes. But for now, let's say that is all looking real nice. Okay, so you can see I've got one shot here. There's one last menu item here, which is duplicate. And sometimes you want to duplicate a shot. So if I click that, it just makes a second one. It's exactly the same. But I don't need that for now, so I'm just going to click delete. All right, so you can see here we've got all our information. It's a close-up of someone's face melting that we're going to shoot on sticks on a 50 mil. But you can see there's some categories that we are not using. The shot number, the cam, the setup, we don't know those yet, and they're kind of just taking up space. So I'm going to click this button, which is the gear icon. And that is going to allow me to customize the shot columns. So you can see we've got a whole bunch of different types of shot columns that we can turn on or off and sort depending on our preferences, because every project and every person is different. Everyone's their own little unique little flower. So this is where you get to express your individuality, if you so choose. So those categories that we weren't using was shot, number, we weren't using cam, and we weren't using setup, but let's turn on visual effect and special effect, because I know that that's what they are. And you can also see down here at the bottom, you've got this category that you can actually change to be whatever you want. So we could just call this, let's say, props, and turn it on, and you will see that now I have a props category, which is right here. Now the cool thing about ShotLister is it changed all those categories. You can also change their order. If I go to the thing here, I can grab this icon, and I'm going to put visual effects after special effects if I so choose, and turn on flag. Now you can see it's changed those order. Also, when I click on the shot settings, now setup and cam, those ones I had before, are no longer here. So it only shows you the settings that you have turned on. So you'll see visual effects and special effects. Those are basically just kind of icons that you can turn on or off to help you know what's going on, know when you're going to be blowing something up or whatever the case may be. And you can see props is now just a text field that's entered down here at the end. So let's just say the prop is magical arc energy. It's a radio for God. Okay, so that's all in there, and we've customized our very own first shot. And you can imagine you fill in all the rest, but just like the cooking shows, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to jump over to a scene that I prepared earlier. So let's click on 9B. So you can see 9B already has a bunch of shots in it. It's got a whole bunch of shots, some are wide, some are close-ups, but you can see here visual effects and flag, those aren't being used, so why do I have them on? I don't know. So I'm going to come in here and turn them off. Special effects, visual effects, and turn off flag as well. But I am going to turn on shot number, prep number, and done, just so I can explain to you what those do. All right, so you can see here I've got those categories. Prep number, you can see, is increasing numerically. So I've got B9, which is just because this is scene 9B, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, and that just continues all the way down to the bottom. But shot number, on the other hand, is going B9Q, B9R. It doesn't start with A, and A is like right here. And that is because shot number is generated based on the shooting order, and prep number is generated based on the scene order. That becomes helpful because sometimes when you're shooting, you're changing the order all the time, and so the shot number is going to change, but that's helpful because you want all your camera people to be able to just shoot A and then B and then C and then D. But when you're in prep, sometimes you've got storyboards or visual effects, and those things need to be tied to numbers that aren't changing when you shoot. So that would be your prep number. And you can tell which one is which because these ones are numerical and these ones are alphanumerical, which will help you. And then the done category just shows you if this shot has been done or not. And this one is because it was shot on July 2nd, 1980. That is actually when they shot this scene. Don't ask me how I know that. So the other thing that you will notice is that these two shots do not have a line between them. Now why is that? That is because these shots are linked. So if I move these shots, they move as a unit, and that is because I have touched the button called Link with Next. You'll see if I do that here, these two shots become linked. And that is helpful because sometimes you want to shoot two shots at the same time. So if I go over here and turn on cam, turn off these other categories just to make room, you will see that they have the letter A, the letter B, so that's just saying that camera A is shooting this and camera B is shooting this. So when you're scheduling these shots will share the same duration. So they will both start at 11:30 and they will both take half an hour so that by 12 you're shooting this next one. So it's very helpful. They'll move around together, as I said. You can even, if you'd like, delete them together. All right, so that is how you build a shot list. Isn't that amazing? It's the sexiest shot list you've ever had. If you'd like to check out other tutorials, we have tutorials on how to import and export. There's another tutorial about how to create a shoot day and schedule your shoot day, which is incredibly important. And if you have any other questions about how to use the app, or if you just want to tell me how terrible this whole thing is, you can email me at contact@shotlister.com. And if you would kindly leave a review of the app, either 1, as in this thing is such a waste of time and you'd rather die than use this app, you can rate it 1. Or if it's the most amazing thing in the world and it saved you countless of hours and made all your films better, rate it a number 5. That would be great. Thank you very much, and I'll talk to you soon.